Hello, today's video is all about emotional eating. So what is it? Emotional eating is basically numbing emotional pain by eating food, mostly carbs. And a lot of us have forgotten what real physical hunger feels like because we are continuously snacking and eating throughout the day. And in this way, we try to fill that emotional void within ourselves. It kind of makes sense because when we eat carbs, our body produces more serotonin, the happiness hormone. So that could explain why we have such a strong relationship between eating and emotions. But let's not forget that emotional eating is nothing else but a band-aid that helps us numb those uncomfortable emotions, even if just for an hour or two. So do you really want to live your life in a numbed state? So in today's video, I'm going to share with you all the best ways how you can stop emotional eating in its tracks. So let's get started. The first tip is experimenting with something called fasting. It's basically not eating for a while. So there's so many different ways of doing this. You can try omitting breakfast or dinner sometimes. You can fast for one full day, once a week. Or you can do a longer fast once a month, or there's something called 5-2 diet, which basically means that you eat normally throughout the week and then on 2 days you limit your calories to 600. So there are so many different ways to do it, and I've tried all of them. I had great results in terms of controlling my emotional eating with it, so that's why it's the first thing I mentioned in this list. And the beauty of fasting is that when you're doing that, you really learn to distinguish between real physical hunger and emotional hunger. And for some people, they actually feel physical hunger for the first time when they fast. So it's incredibly helpful. I just really want to add a little bit of a warning here. If you're a woman, and especially if you have adrenal issues or lots of stress in your life, be very careful with fasting. Be very, very slow and ease into it little by little. Don't overdo, because it can really mess up your hormones and your stress hormones too. The next tip is practice mindfulness in all the different ways. So whatever really works for you, whether it's meditation, journaling, going on mindfulness walks, or another great way is practicing something called slow eating, which is when you really savor every single spoon of your food. You eat really slowly, and that really helps not only become more mindful and aware of what you're doing, but also helps your fullness receptors to catch up, so you feel more satiated after the meal. And this way you also get to know yourself better. You become more aware of your emotions, so when you start feeling this urge to go and eat something, you will be more aware of whether it's real physical hunger or whether it's just some kind of a hidden emotion in you. The next tip I have for you is simply drink, because thirst masquerades as hunger very, very often. So if you have this urge to go and eat something, try to make yourself a lovely herbal tea and see if that removes that wish to eat something. Personally, I do that all the time. I drink teas throughout the day, and they really fill that void in me when I need something warming and soothing and comforting. It's tea all the way for me. The next tip is eat a lot of good quality healthy carbs. So like I said at the beginning of the video, carbs actually help your body produce more serotonin, which is the happiness hormone. So when you are stressed, unhappy, disappointed, or angry with somebody, your body will naturally urge you to eat something with lots of carbs, because in this way it can regain that balance, even if just for a short time. But instead of reaching out for sugary and healthy snacks or desserts, you can actually go for healthy sources of carbs like potatoes, rice, oatmeal, which is my favorite. There's nothing more soothing than that. Fruit or sourdough bread. There's so many ways to get enough carbs and to keep that serotonin high. The next tip is ask yourself, are you restricting your diet too much? For example, are you a vegan or vegetarian? Are you a high carb, low fat follower? Or perhaps you're doing paleo diet with low carbs. There's so many different ways to stress your body with not eating enough food, not getting enough nutrients, or not getting certain macros like enough carbs or enough fat, or over exercising, or not sleeping enough. There's so many ways to stress your body. If you're going through a lot of stress, I would highly recommend watching a video I made in the past about the top adaptogenic herbs for stress control. That is seriously so helpful, because herbs can really help your body release that stress and cope with it better. The next important thing is getting to know yourself better, and you do that by asking yourself questions. So whenever you feel these these big urges to go and eat something, especially something sweet, ask yourself, are you really hungry, like physically hungry, or are you emotionally hungry? Are you just upset about something, sad, angry, disappointed, frustrated? Or are you perhaps running away from a solution to some kind of a problem? Are you procrastinating? Are you postponing a solution to some kind of a problem? Are you refusing to look the truth in the eye? What is it that you're trying to run away from instead of facing the problem head on? So all of these things would actually lead to a lot of emotional eating, because that's our way, our coping mechanism. Instead of facing what is difficult, we try and numb the pain with food. So getting to know yourself and getting to understand your emotions is really the best way to stop this chain of emotional eating, because once you know why you do something, you will be much more able to control that behavior. And the last tip I have for you is keep yourself busy. Because when you're busy, when your mind is busy thinking or doing things, then you'll be much less inclined to have thoughts about food. And also, under the same topic, stay away from the kitchen. For example, if your office, your desk, or your computer is in the kitchen and that's where you spend most of your time working, that is really bad news, because it will be so difficult to avoid eating all the time. And I'm saying this from experience, because I work right next to the kitchen, so I continuously used to go and get something from the fridge or eat bananas or whatever, and it's really difficult. So the best way is really just to get yourself as far away from the kitchen as possible, at least at the beginning. So these are all of my tips for stopping emotional eating right now, once and for all. I really hope that you find these tips helpful. Let me know if you have emotional eating yourself and if you found anything that helped you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.